Why so less number today, guys?
don't know कैसे.
Okay, all right. So, guys, any doubts from yesterday? Were you able to revise the basics part? Because going forward, that will be important because we will be mostly discussing the questions of geometry, and later on we'll move to the mensuration part. So, anybody, any doubts?
Kesri, I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, in case of while we finding the areas of like hexagon or the sides have the polygon having 12 sides,
Yes,
you see that divide it into equal triangles,
yes,
and the area of one triangle into multiple number of, that is fine.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Basically, that is what we did in our normal hexagon, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's one more concept continuing from where we had left yesterday is this part, similar to area part. Like in geometry, you will basically be given questions on three types. That is, find the side, measurement of the side, find the angle, and find the area. These are the only three types wherein you will be asked the questions. Here you can be given find the ratio of the areas on similar lines, but basically if you know the area, you can easily solve it. So based on that, let me give you a simple question, and just a small simple question. This is your hexagon A, B, C, D, E, F. This is the center. So I'm joining each and every vertex with the center. Now I want to know, and this X is the center of F and O. So I want to know the ratio of this triangle, this red shaded area, is to the ratio of area of the total hexagon. Answers in the chat box, please, privately. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Think. And I want answers from everybody. It's not that difficult of a sum.
Okay, sir, once can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So X is the midpoint of F and O. And the triangle FAX, you have to find the ratio of area of triangle FAX is to total area of the hexagon.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 minutes. I can already see two answers coming in, and yes, they are right. In fact, this question happens to be a previous year CAT question also, like not recent one. It's quite old, but still a previous year CAT question is a previous year CAT question. So yeah, guys, quickly give me answers. Yes, Aswik, your answer is correct. Yes, Anshula, great. I can see 4 answers already in. Two more to go. Hurry up, guys. Yes, Mandeep, that's right. So there's just one person left. Uttam, I haven't received an answer from you. All right, so let's start with it. Yes, guys, the answer everybody of you gave 1 is to 12 is quite correct. That is, we'll use the basic formula, and that is, if I have to compare the triangle FAX is to FAO, height of both the triangles is same, and the base of the triangle, shaded triangle, is half of that of FAO. So naturally the area will be half as well, and we have such 6 such similar triangles. So naturally we will have total such 12 parts. So yes, it is correct. In fact, the trickier part is when this question had come in CAT, it was like this. All right, so now I will ask one more question from you guys, and this time it will be slightly trickier. I've joined alternate vertices. Now you know how to do, what construction need to be done. I leave totally up to you. Now determine the area of the shaded region is to the total hexagon ka area. Answers in the chat box privately. You guys have 2 minutes. Judith, if the answer of what you are telling, if it would have been correct, that basically means the shaded region and the total region are one and the same thing. I did not ask shaded is to unshaded. I asked shaded is to total area of the hexagon. You're thinking on correct lines? You have made a slide. Yes, yes, now it's correct. Yes, Manidip, right answer. Good. Others, hurry up. If you can use some construction, it's quite an easy question. You can solve it in 10 seconds. No, Aswek, try again. Thirty more seconds, guys. Yes, Aditya, correct answer. Okay, so let's proceed with that, guys. Just observe carefully of all the constructions I do. So what I'll do is I'll join these vertices with the center, and now what you guys see is basically three different parallelograms. There is one parallelogram that is this. There's one parallelogram that is this. That is one parallelogram that is this. So guys, I just want to know, are these three parallelograms congruent or not?
Yes.
Anybody having any doubt why or how they are congruent? Okay, perfect, great then. If they are congruent, that means they are equal, and this green shaded area covers half of each of these parallelograms. That means half of every one of them. So basically I can say this area, this and this are same, 1 and 2, this 3 and 4 are same, 5 and 6 is same. So after total 6 areas, I have covered 3 areas. Naturally the ratio would be 1:2. Is this part clear, everyone? Anybody who did not get the answer, is this part clear? How did we come to the ratio 1:2? You just have to exploit symmetry.
Casey, there's one more thing. Can we do like this? Like, I think, I don't know, I'm sure or not. Just connect the center and A line. And like this, if we connect everything with the vertices, we'll be getting again a set of triangles. And
One
then the
second.
line.
Yeah, so you are telling connect A, sorry, one
Uh,
second. Connect A to the center and
yeah, so can we say that this line FB is dividing triangle OAB into two equal halves?
yes, you can say that.
Okay, then by using the similar approach as the previous one, we'll get again 12 parts. And if we count the shaded parts, there'll be 6. So again,
Yes,
it'll be 1:2.
yes, it's completely fine.
Yeah. I was just having a doubt. Does it divide that triangle, completely into equal halves?
Yes, it will. I mean, see, that's the thing. Uh, Sometimes intuition works quite correctly in geometry. What we do is we underestimate that part. We are solving geometry in a time crunch, and it's perfectly fine to go with your intuition part because that is what symmetry is. And if you can exploit that symmetry part, it's completely fine.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Kesari, one doubt here.
Yeah.
So I was just seeing, I mean, I don't know if this is correct logic or not. So here we have basically connected three vertices, right?
Yes.
F, B, and C. So what I was saying, like if it is connected three vertices, then the ratios will be like 3 is to the total number of vertices.
Uh,
We do that way? It works?
mm, nah. Uh, I'm not sure about that part because it might work in some cases, it might not work in some cases. I'll give you an example. Like, let us say you have your hexagon like this. I am connecting now this.
Okay.
How many vertices are covered in this part?
4,
4. How many vertices are there total?
6.
So by your logic, the answer should be 2 by 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not.
Yeah.
So let's not have such a theory in our minds. I mean,
No,
I
no,
can understand what you were
no,
trying to say. It's quite correct, but
no.
it might not work every time.
What I was thinking is, no, in this case, the ratios will be 1:2, right?
Yes, it will be.
2:3, 6. Okay, fine, right, correct. Okay, got it.
Any doubts further?
No, good.
Okay, all right. All right. So we moved towards similar such things like let's say, and this is quite a basic concept going forward. There are two circles, concentric circle. This is R1, this is R2. So Ashvik, I've recorded, this session is recorded. Yeah,
Sorry, my screen went down.
yeah. So R1 and R2. So what will be the ratio of these areas, guys?
R1 by
R1 by
R2
R2.
R2.
Sorry?
R1 square is to R2.
Yes, R1 square is to R2 square. It will not be just R1 is to R2.
Yeah, R2 square, sorry.
Yeah. So whenever we'll be dealing with such things, so you might come across questions like this. Let's say there's a rectangle or a square, and you have a circle. Wait a second, guys. Mm, just a second. Yeah. So what we might have is, we will have a line like this and like this connected, and what you will have to do is you will be given question, how the questions will be framed. So there will be an R1, and this R1 will be same across since it's a circle, and then you will be given this distance. So this distance will be same as this one. Anybody having any doubt with that part?
Okay, sir.
Okay. And what will be this angle, guys?
90.
Yes, it will be 90. So uh, if I have this total distance, and if I know the radius, can you tell me what will be this distance, guys? Like,
Total
The
distance
total chord by and radius.
minus
yes,
2 R2.
yes, this total distance minus 2 are perfect. Now what we will do is, let's zoom into this. I hope now it's bigger. Now what will be done is, you will have one more circle given here. Now what you will have is this and this. Now this is actually joining here, this part. Now you will be given this part. You'll have to find this part, and there it will be asked is, the question that you will be given is, now find what is this distance. How will you approach that question now?
We have to find out the small circle ka diameter.
And how will you find that part too? Like, this will be a passage type question, like two questions can be asked simultaneously. First would be a straightforward I had asked, second would be this part. And how will you find that part? If just the radius of this is given, radius is given, that's it. How will you find that part? I want to know the approach. See, in geometry, you will find so many types of questions. The important thing is knowing the approach in what type of situations, how to solve. It's not like your speed, time, and distance, where there are only 2 or 3 templates on which questions can be set. In geometry, the world is endless. So basically, what I'm trying to fix is quite some templates as to how to approach some questions. That is the main important thing in geometry.
You want us to find out this distance between the origin and the smaller circle.
Yes, I want to know this distance.
Okay, so what we can do is, since we know that R is forming a square over here.
Okay, this is
And,
R1 and let's say this is R2.
Yeah, so R1 plus R2 plus some distance x is nothing but our diagonal of a square. So by
Diagonal.
using right angle triangle, hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
So actually R1, the radius with respect to the two axes x and y is forming a square. So once we know R1, there'll be R1 on the other side as well. So
Yes.
by using Pythagoras theorem, we can find out the diagonal, the center of and the the diagonal of a square. We know R1. So first we can subtract that distance. So we'll get the leftover distance. So from that, again, if we subtract 2R2, we'll get the distance between the origin and the circle.
Okay. All right. Yeah, seems to be correct. All right. Anybody else? Any other approach too? I mean, guys, I just want to ask you one thing. If at all you hear anywhere 90 degree, what is the first formula, first theorem that strikes your mind?
Pythagoras theorem.
Pythagoras theorem. Exactly. Use that.
Yeah. X plus 2R1 plus 2R2. We can use this approach, no, Kesri. X plus 2R2 plus R1 will be the hypotenuse,
Okay.
and remaining we know the
X plus 2R1.
2R2
Okay,
sorry,
2R2
plus R1
plus R1.
will be the hypotenuse,
Okay.
which is equal to
2R1 square.
2R1 square, and this is also the left side wall also whole square.
Okay. So basically root 2R1.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've got one equation. What one more equation can you find? Mind you, this also touches, this circle also touches this line here and here. And I don't even know R2, I just know R1. So in this equation, there are two unknowns, R2 and X. Two unknowns, one equation, you cannot find the answer.
2R2 square
Okay.
equal to X plus R2.
X plus R2, that would be root 2 R2.
Yes.
Yes.
Two equations.
Yes. Perfect now. Perfect. Everybody understood how did I get these two equations?
Yes, one for bigger circle and next for
Yes.
smaller.
Yes. I'll explain it once again, guys. I'll explain it once
It was actually simple, but I didn't figure out that the circle was touching the other two.
Yeah. My bad. I'm not that great of an artist. So guys, what the question here would be, using the Pythagoras theorem for this triangle first and then this triangle. So for this bigger triangle, what we'll have is this hypotenuse is equal to this side ka square plus this side ka square. So the hypotenuse is x, this is x plus 2 times r2 plus r1 ka square is equal to r1 square plus r1 square. Is this equation clear, guys? How did we get this part? Anybody any doubt in this question? Ask me this equation, ask me right now. Anybody? All right, perfect. Moving to the next smaller triangle, that is this one. So here we'll have x plus r2. This will be the new hypotenuse. So the square of this part will be r1 square. sorry, R2 square as well as R2 square from this side. So this is how we will have two unknowns and we'll have two equations, and yeah, based on the simple numbers that will be given, you will get your answer. So is this part clear to everyone? Any doubts moving forward? Guys? Okay, perfect. All right, then we'll move to some next conceptual part, and that would be your circles. So in circle, there's one theorem. If there's a chord, it subtends an angle. Anybody remember the theorem?
Sum of two interior angles.
No, that's not the case. Think. I'll give you first 30 seconds, guys. Think.
Sorry, Kesari, what we are supposed to find here?
We are not supposed to find. I'm trying to ask a theorem, like angle subtended by a chord. It goes on these lines. Like if there's an external angle, this will be equal to some other angle as well, or similar lines. I'm not exactly purposely stating the complete theorem, just as to test if you guys remember it. This was mostly taught to you in your 9th or 10th standard, if I'm not wrong. Anybody remember that formula? If not formula, the theorem part. Okay, let me draw the diagram in a better way so that you guys can understand. So that would be, let's say this is your chord, this is your circle. So, and this is your inner triangle. This is the chord, right? This chord subtends this angle at the circle. Now this angle will always be equal to this angle. This is the theorem. There's not bigger of a derivation. The derivation is of moderate length, but do remember this formula, guys. The external angle of the chord that subtends it is the same as to the internal angle subtended by the chord. And it will come in handy while solving some complex problems. Like you will be stuck in a situation where either this angle or this angle would be required, and you can relate to all of them quite closely.
This isn't just like this is exactly the same as parallel lines, right? This chord is parallel to this tangent, whatever is shown over here. So it basically
This
these are
chord
the
and this tangent.
yeah.
No, this is just because of the diagram. What if, all right, what if this is the circle, this is the tangent, this is my chord. Now this will be anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Now it will not be parallel. That was a special case.
Okay.
This
So
is the
these
special, yeah, this theorem is a special theorem one.
both angles will be same.
Yes, this angle, this and this will be same.
So this includes the part which is inside the circle and as well the remaining part which is a bit outside the circle.
Yeah, total angle between the tangent and this line.
Okay.
Yeah. So to remember it, guys, there will be sums in the assignment wherein you will be required if this formula is with you. See, this formula, knowing this formula is not a compulsion. You can still get around and solve it. But what this formula will do is, it will reduce your time. Okay, then moving on to an easy problem, not much difficult, and that would be a right angle triangle is present. This is at B, A, and C, your normal one. And then you have an in circle. Remember, guys, we had discussed yesterday in circle, external circle, in center and X and ortho center and everything. So this will be your in circle, and the point of contact here would be D. Let's take this E then, and this would be F. As usual, this will be a 90-degree. So the point of contact of the in circle with the hypotenuse is in the ratio 3:2. So this would be 3, this would be 2. And if the perimeter of the triangle ABC is 36, you will have to find the in radius. You have to find this R. I'm giving you 3 minutes because this is slightly on the moderate or a bit on the difficult side. Let's see how you guys solve it. One more important theorem, guys, just before this, that would be from a point, if I draw two tangents to the circle, this tangents will always be equal, both of them. This is a basic formula. If you guys didn't know, just to help you remember, this might be useful for you guys. That's why I have told this. So the perimeter is 36. Ratio in which this hypotenuse is divided is 3:2. I want to find R, the in radius. 3 minutes, start. I hope the question is clear to everyone and everybody has understood it. If not, please ask me again. Anybody with the answer yet? Yes, Aditya, perfectly. I was just speaking and you've given me the right answer. Great. Others? 1.5 minutes more. If you have any issues on how to proceed, use this formula and then use the Pythagoras theorem. This is a hint. No, Manideep, that's not the answer. I think you have done some calculation mistake. Please recheck. No, Aswik. Thirty seconds more, guys. No, Aswik. Even that's not the correct answer. Others, are you guys stuck? Okay, let's see how the approach would be. I think that's enough time. So, since this is in the ratio of 3:2, so let's give it 3x. This is 2x. Now, according to this theorem, from a point if tangents are drawn, they are of the same size. So from this point, will this and this be a tangent? So if this is 3x, this will also be 3x. From this point, tangents this and tangents this. If this is 2x till here, even this will be 2x. And since this is 90 degree, this is 90 degree, this is 90 degree, this is a square. So r, even this will be r and this will be r. Let's skip it rx and rx also, so as to they will remain in the proportion. Now, do I know the total length of all these sides, guys? What is the length of the hypotenuse, guys, here?
$15.
5x.
No,
It's
no,
not
no.
15.
Oh,
3x plus 2x.
oh,
Yeah. And this base is 2x plus rx. This height is 3x plus rx. Use the Pythagoras theorem now. Now I'm giving you 1 minute, guys. Now use the Pythagoras theorem and everybody please give me an answer. Now the question is as straightforward as it can get. Prerit, you want to say something?
No, no.
Okay. Hurry up, guys. It's taking way too much long. 30 more
Okay.
seconds.
Kesri, I have a different approach.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shall I say it now or after 30 seconds?
Yeah, wait. Let's others solve it first.
Yeah, sure.
No, Anshula, that's not the right answer. What you have got is the value of x. From that you have to find the value of r. I mean, sorry, you have found the value of r. You have to find the value of rx because that is the actual length. We have considered this as actual rx, right? Yeah, you have just found the value of small r. There's one more step remaining. Alright guys, so it will take way too much longer of a time. The actual what you will have here is you will find this r. Let me put this as capital R. So the small r will be equal to 1 and finally you will get total as equal to 3. So capital R will be finally 3. This is what your answer will be. Okay, yeah, Aditya, you had one different approach. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kesri, so can you show the diagram? Yeah. So what I did over here is I did not assume Rx or anything. So
Okay.
I just took B as the origin, and
Okay.
I'm considering BF O and E as a square. So R will be same across all the four sides. So I took it
Yes.
as a radius itself.
Okay.
Then what I did is I did 3x plus 2x plus 3x plus 2r plus 2x, the complete thing equal to 36. So the perimeter itself, because I took r, right? So
Yes.
yeah, so I'll be getting an equation 10x plus 2r is equals to 36.
Okay.
Now what I did is I did simple substitution. If we substitute x as 3 and r as 3, we'll be getting 36. Now to cross-check my answer, what I did is, if I'm trying to find the sides using XS3 and RS3, I'm getting a perfect Pythagorean triplet, that is
Pythagorean
15,
triplet.
12, and 9.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but if I'm substituting 2 or 1, I'm not getting a Pythagorean triplet. So it
Hmm.
simply means that 3 and 3 are the perfect
Yes.
answers for X and R.
Yes. Yes. In fact, what you have done is quite correct. And my next question is exactly based on this situation. So it's like you've perfectly predicted what I'm going to do next. So let's see.
Basically, can we explain what is small r here?
Small r, I've taken the ratio part actually. Like this is capital R, and so as to keep it in the same ratio itself, I used R is equal to small r into X. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one more approach coming up, guys. Like Aditya said, you will find this question quite easy, and using the approach in this question, you can, if you solve the previous question once again, you will find it much easier. So the question is, there's a right angle triangle with perimeter 24. Now you have to find how much is your in radius and circumradius. You'll have to find r plus 2r. This is in radius and 2 times circumradius. What is in radius and circumradius? This is in radius and this is the circumradius. This is the center for the circumradius. So I'll give you a hint. Circumradius of any right angle triangle is always half of the hypotenuse. If the hypotenuse is C, R is always equal to C by 2. Always. This is the hint.
The ratio remains the same, KSP.
Sorry, ratio as in?
The 3:2 you said us in the last one.
No. That question is different.
Okay.
Yeah, this is new question. It's just that a right angle triangle is the same. So the perimeter of this triangle is 24. It's a right angle triangle. You have to find the sum of in radius as well as twice of circumradius. And I've just given you the formula of shortcut formula of what is the circumradius. It's half of hypotenuse. Hint, you will have to use the concept of Pythagorean triplets. I want the total answer, Prerit. Yes, Anshula, correct. I want the total answer, Prerit, not just the individual capital R part. Hurry up, guys. Easy question. 1 more minute. No, Manideep, that's not the answer. Yes, Aditya. Both of them is correct. Here, guys, if you can guess which Pythagorean triplets actually fits in, this question will become quite easier. No, Prerit. Okay, so I think that would be getting quite late. Let's discuss it. So since Anshula was the first one to give me the answer, let's hear it from Anshula. Anshula, what approach did you use?
Kesari, I use the same one as Aditya said in the last question.
Yes, yes.
Sum of all sides is given as perimeter.
Yes, perfect.
2r plus capital R plus small r. And again plus capital R plus R is equal to 24. And by adding all this, I get R plus 2R is equal to 12.
Perfect.
I did it differently this.
Go ahead.
So what I did is every time what I do is I basically write the first basic Pythagorean triplet that I know, which is 5, 4, and 3. And then I keep on multiplying.
Okay.
So I multiplied 5, 4, and 3 all with 2. If you add them up, it will be 24.
Yes,
So there I
perfect.
have all my Pythagorean triplets. And then according to the concept that we explained last time, I already know my hypotenuse is 10 centimeters.
Yes,
And
it is.
since these both are tangents and it divides them into proportions of 3:2, so my hypotenuse will get divided into 6 centimeter and 4 centimeter.
I
So,
did not say it is 3:2.
okay, I assumed
Okay, all
that
right.
it's 3:2. So
Okay,
it becomes 10 centimeter becomes 6 centimeter and 4 centimeter.
okay,
And then since one of my side is 8 and one half of it should be 6, then the
mm-hmm.
other half should be 2, obviously.
Okay,
So, and I know 10, so 10 divided by 2 will give me the capital R.
okay, okay, fine. Anybody else? Like Prerit and Manidip, you guys got 13. How did you guys get 13? I want to know.
I took the main diameter as 10 and the other two sides as 6 and 8.
Yeah, okay then.
So since the radius, the 8 minus 5 is 3.
How did 5 come? Okay,
So the radius would be same as the other part of the remaining side of the triangle.
okay. Acha, you use that approach. So then if 8 minus 5 is 3, why not 6 minus 5 then?
That's what I was confused.
Same with me,
That,
Kesri.
okay. Then how did you both of you guys give the answer 13? Why not 11?
Because considering 6 is a very small side, but 5 minus 6 would be just 1.
Okay,
Then it would not be possible to make a circle then.
okay, okay. Okay, one exercise, guys. If I have to
But I
find,
still didn't understand the solution.
I'll explain it. Don't worry. I'm coming to that part. I know that. There's one important concept derivation part, not the concept. You know the concept, the derivation part. And if you guys can understand that derivation part, that will really help you as to understand how we can solve such type of questions. So that would be, how will you calculate the value of r, small r, in any given triangle? What approaches can you use? I do not want to solve it. I want to know the approaches. How will you find the value of small r in any given right angle triangle? You know the measure of all the sides. You know which Pythagorean triplet is forming it. How will you guys calculate the value of small r? I need to know that part. You do not know the formula. I'm assuming that part. So don't give me that answer that I'll use the formula. No. I want to go into the derivation part. How will you guys calculate it? I want to hear it from you guys. Let's see. In other chapters, sometimes knowing how to derive things is not useful, but in geometry, it's a different case scenario. Knowing some derivations is sometimes quite helpful. I'm giving you guys 1 minute. Think, and then I'll ask. All right, guys. So it's almost time. Let's hear the approaches. Anybody who wishes to go first? Okay. So I think there's quite unity among you guys now. Anybody?
Kesri, I think we can do something with the altitude of a triangle.
There are 2-3 approaches. Go ahead. Let me see yours.
So I I do not have the complete approach. What I was thinking is when we have 3 sides of a triangle, we can try and find out the height of it, of the triangle.
Okay. Okay.
So I suppose this height of the triangle will coincide with the diameter of the circle,
Okay.
and then a part of this diameter of a circle is the height. So somehow I would try to find the remaining height which remains between origin and the surface of the circle by the previous concepts that you told.
Okay.
And then I'll subtract it from the height of the triangle so that I'll get the diameter of a circle, and then I can get the radius.
Yes. Yes. I mean, if the calculation part is correct, you should get there in radius. Anybody else? Anybody else with any other approach? Either everybody has thought of this approach or they haven't thought about any other approach at all. Which among these two is the correct option, guys, that you have followed? Guys, am I audible first of all?
Yeah, Keith.
Others, am I audible to you guys?
Yes, Kesari.
Yeah, then give me some answers. I thought
No answers.
why is it such a tough question? Okay, I'll give you one more approaches, guys, to see, and that is quite related to the area part, and you will fit such questions. So what is the total area of this triangle, guys? Half into length into height, breadth into height. This is the height, this is the breadth, so the area would be half into breadth into height. This will also be equal to this part and this part. Like this is the height and this is the breadth, so this would be h1 and this would be b1 is equal to half into h1 into b1. Can I say this part, guys?
Yes, Keith.
Yes.
Anybody having any doubt with this part, how I came to this part? Okay, perfect. Now let's zoom into this h1 part. Let me, this is what is it, this is r, this is r. Now what is this h1, this total h1? This is r, this is r, this is r. So what will be this part? Root 2r. Yes, it will be root 2r according to the Pythagoras theorem. So the total height would be root 2 plus 1 into small r. Right, guys?
Yes, Krishna.
This into breadth, you will have to substitute here, and then you will get the value of small r. Simple. Is this part correct or did I miss anything, guys?
Is this the same as what I said, Kesri?
Almost. Yes.
I have one doubt. Like, is it 100% mandatory that we are drawing a height of a triangle and it completely coincides with the diameter of the inner circle. I was having that doubt itself.
Sorry, could you repeat?
Is it like 100% sure that when I draw the altitude of my triangle, which is the
Hmm.
height for finding
Hmm.
out the area, it
Mhm.
completely coincides with the diameter of my inner circle?
Uh, should be, should be.
Because that is one big question mark over here. The basis, the foundation of the whole approach that I explained and you explained depends upon that itself. They should
Yes,
coincide.
yes.
So that is where I have a doubt.
Mm, do one thing. Uh, draw one right angle triangle
Okay.
and see if it matches. Because in most of them it coincides. Like I'll tell you a special scenario that happens in our triangles as well. That is your orthocenter, your in-center, as well as your circumcenter. All of them coincide into one single point in an equilateral triangle, right?
Yes, yes.
But that is not the case in your isosceles or scalene triangles.
Yes, Keith.
So in a special case, this might happen in your right angle triangle also, but in some cases it might not. So try drawing two different sizes right angle triangle and let's see.
Okay. Because if it coincides directly with the diameter of the incenter, then it becomes very simple based
Yes,
upon the
yes.
concept that you have just explained before of finding out the remaining distance. Like
Hmm.
it's just an application of that.
Yes, yes. There's one more approach to it. I'm just sharing it right now. There's one more approach to it. And this approach will work irrespective of this assumption that if it coincides or not. And this is how the approach would be. This is your right angle triangle. This is your in circle. And this is your value of r's. This complete is A. This is B. This is C. Now the area of this will be half into A, sorry, half into B into C, right? This will be the area of the triangle with our normal formula. Now, what I'll do is I'll do a small construction. Let's name it O. This is X, this is Y, this is Z. Now the area of this complete triangle will be area of this triangle, and this triangle, right guys? So what will be the area of OXY? Half into R into C. Is this part clear, guys? This should be correct, right? Because this is a tangent and tangent meets at 90 degree. So this has to be the altitude. Any confusion in this part?
No case.
Okay, perfect. Similarly, OYZ, you will have half into R into A, and similarly half into R into B. So combining all of them, you will get half into R into A plus B plus C. Is this part clear, guys?
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. Then if you just equate it, let's skip it. This is equal to delta. So your formula will be 2 times delta by A plus B plus C. And what is A plus B plus C, guys?
Perimeter.
Yes, perimeter. So perimeter is equal to 2 times half of perimeter.
Yes.
So if I replace this by 2s, my answer will be, and this is how we derive the value of small r for any type of uh, right angle triangle. It doesn't matter if this criteria matches or not. The one which you were selling, it doesn't matter, because in some of them it might, in some of them it won't, depending on a special case. But this, it works every time. Is this part clear, guys, how we came to the derivation part? Everybody in it out here, guys? Now, Prerit and Manideep, now try to find the value of small r using this formula and see what do you get. Everybody, please try and find the value of small r using this formula for the question that was just discussed above. What is the value of small r that you get?
2.
2, perfectly. Others, I need a confirmation from your side as well.
Kesri, area is not given, right? Only perimeter is given as 24.
Yes, but you were able to find the Pythagorean triplet, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you know the Pythagorean triplet, you can find the area.
Yes.
Others, did you get the value of small r? Anshula, Aswik, Manideep.
Yes, case.
Yes, Kesri.
Okay, perfect then. So guys, this will be like most of the part that has been quite covered in geometry. Now geometry is quite vast of a topic. So the worksheet for geometry would be a little bigger one, which I will be sharing with you tomorrow before the starting of the next session, and also the worksheet of numbers 3. But I just need to know how many guys, among you guys, how many of you have attempted the quiz on numbers? Yesterday I asked, I did not receive a very good response. So I hope at least some of you have taken some efforts to solve those quizzes. See, important part of some of the topics like speed, time and distance and time and work, those are quite easy topics. Once you know 2-3 templates of how the question is asked, you can easily solve them. In numbers and in geometry, template is fixed, but the way the questions can be asked is it cannot be predicted. So you need some constant practice. It's like two perfect numbers and geometry, such chapters, it takes about a month or two of regular revision and regular practice so as to perfect it. You cannot practice and perfect it in just 1 week or so. That's why I will be having such regular worksheets on such topics, because I know speed, time and distance and others, if you go and revise the lecture notes, that would be more than sufficient. But for these topics, you will require some extra motivation, some extra guidance and some extra practice as well. And that is the main purpose of it. So I'll be sharing the geometry part with you guys. It will have a lot of questions, and what you do is you'll have to set aside some weekly targets of number of questions that you will solve on geometry, and you will have to solve them. Any doubts going forward, guys? In geometry, whatever we have discussed till now?
Is our geometry done, Kesri?
More or less the concepts is done. There might be some formulas that you might find are not discussed, but that is basically because those are purely formula based questions. Like I'll give you the example. Suppose there's an hexagon. So this is your exterior angle, right? So there's a formula with which you can find the sum of all the exterior angles. Now this is a purely formula based sum. If I give you the formula and I asked you the question, you just have to apply the formula and the answer is straightforward. such questions where you have to derive such things, I've discussed all that part. And this covers most of it, like 60 to 70% of the geometry. Such things cover 30% of the geometry. What I'm going to do to cover this part is I will give you a formula sheet. Don't worry on that part. I'll give you a formula sheet. And when you start solving the questions for the homework sheet, you can keep that formula sheet in front of you.
Okay, Kesari.
So more or less, I would say a geometry is done. Don't worry, we'll have some practice sessions after a month or so on geometry and numbers as well. Like it's not that I've finished numbers and finished geometry, so it won't be discussed ever again. What I've planned is once we cover our course, that would be now quant would be a few sessions are remaining on quant. Then we'll start with our DILR part. And when we are done with that part, we'll have completely doubt based sessions as well as revision sessions where we'll just revise the concepts and solve some tougher questions. So I would say a geometry basics part is done. Is the solving part and some tough parts is done? No, that part is remaining.
Okay.
Yeah. So guys, any doubts of whatever we have discussed till now?
Kesari, one common doubt. How
Yeah,
many
go ahead.
questions will we be getting of geometry in CAT?
I answered that yesterday, 1 or 2 questions.
Achha, only 1 or 2, right?
Yes, yes. So you're thinking of leaving geometry already? Yes.
Not really,
your
but yeah, somewhere around there.
your cunning evil smile already suggests that thing. See, it's okay to leave such things, but what if, like, let's say you completely go with the mindset, whatever comes in geometry, I'm not going to attempt it. And what if those 2 questions are quite easy? That's the main thing which I'm trying to convey. Don't go with a negative mindset. I cannot do this part. I cannot do that part. No, that's just the basic understanding part. That's why I am not directly giving you formulas that this is the formula, guys. Just mug it up and give it in the answer, give it in the exam. I'm trying to get to the derivation part. I'm trying to get to the basic, that how did this part come? What is the actual way this part is solved, or how can there be some twists in this question? Some of them have been discussed. Some of them will be discussed when we'll be revising this part, because I do not want to overload you guys with the burden of all the information at once. Because what happens, and I've seen this in the past with the students I've taught, is that when you overload them with the information, human mind tends to forget it. This happens with all of us. It's not that it happens with only few of us. So yeah. And guys, now your workload will quite increase because you'll also have your VARC sessions. So I would say buckle up with the numbers part, and at max in a day or two, please, 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 I request you again, please attempt those quizzes. I'll be my all other worksheets of geometry, numbers 3 and trigonometry are ready. I can share them right at this moment, but that's not the point. I can share you 50 worksheets, but not solving them properly and having to not having any proper discussion in the class, then those worksheets are of no use. So please, I would request you again to solve both of those quizzes and give me the time as to how much time did you take. After everybody has submitted that statement in the group, I will share the answer sheet so that you can judge how much marks have you got after how much time.
Kesari, could you please upload worksheets directly on WhatsApp, because it's like more comfortable over there.
Okay, I will see to that.
Yeah. And
see, what happens is
yeah.
it shouldn't just get lost in the WhatsApp part. That's it. Like moving forward, there might be a lot of different documents that might be shared to you guys. Like in the initial beginning part, that's the only thing we had discussed it. But surely, I think if you guys are facing such issues, I'll see that if it can be uploaded on the WhatsApp as well.
Yeah, on both Conquer and WhatsApp
Okay,
as well.
okay, sure then.
And one small thing, Kesari, like I don't know, it's not related to the subject. I'm just saying, if I put too much of effort in a question in CAT, that means I'm going wrong somewhere. Is that right? Because CAT questions, all of them are tricky. None of them are calculation intensive.
See, if you're taking way too much time, it is either because of two things. You haven't read the question carefully, you're missing some data, or you are using way too much of a longer approach, which you shouldn't be ideally using. That's it.
Okay. So can I assume that each and every question in CAT is supposed to have a trick, smaller one?
Out of 34 questions, there will be 1 or 2 questions, or if the paper is very tough, at max 4 questions, which might take 6 to 7 minutes to solve.
Okay.
But those are very few, like 1-2 questions, or at max, if the paper is very tough, then 4 questions, which might take 6 questions ideally to solve using normal methods. Even if you apply a trick, that 6 to 7 minutes might come down to 4 minutes. Otherwise, all the questions are really good to go. So if you're facing way too much time, I would suggest go revise the lecture note, revise the sheet that we had solved in the classwork, and check if there are similar problems in the homework. If you're still facing the issue, ping me on WhatsApp group, and I will try and see how I can help you.
Okay, guys.
And yeah, guys, like I had said, whenever you ask me some questions, I will not directly give you the answer. I will give you the hint. Try to give you the hint. Because what happens is, if I directly give you the answer, you won't think on it. If I give you the hint, you will think on it again. And because of that, you will remember that doubt, and that doubt will lead you to remembering that concept. I've seen this part. This part really helps other students as well. A lot of students have said me that because of this approach, they were able to understand and remember that concept in the exam time, because it often happens in exam timings that you just, because of so much pressure, you forget which formula is to be used and how it is to be used. So that is my only approach, why I'm just stating the hints initially and then asking you guys. If you guys still face an issue, I will solve it later part. If you guys have any issue with that part, do let me know. Then if you're still facing such issues, I will directly tell you how to solve the question. Will that be okay, guys?
Yeah, case.
Okay. Others, will that be okay?
Yes, case.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right then. Perfect, guys. Next lecture we'll be covering the trigonometry part as well as the mensuration part. It's quite easy. All of them are clear-cut formula based, no derivation, nothing. At max, if you get a question, one question at a max, or it won't be asked. That's quite an easy topic. Hence, we can club in 2 topics in one session. So that would be our agenda for the next session tomorrow. And see you guys today then.
Yeah, good night, case.
Thank you.
Good night.